great experience with their Lympha Press and managing their lipedema in a way that can be inspiring to you. So I want to introduce you to Liz Saunders. Hey, Liz, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm excited for you to be here, and you are a lipedema patient. How did you get diagnosed, and when did you get diagnosed?
Oh, let's see. It was a year ago, June, but it took me a while to get there. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things. I think like a lot of women, especially, it's just a long, could be a long process to find somebody, the right person, who you're going to connect with and who believes you and knows about lipedema, period. We all know that, right? So, definitely I got diagnosed a year and a half ago, but it was 2 years before that. It took me that long to find a doctor. I went to a couple of different people who just didn't know what it was, who, told me that there was nothing wrong with me. I actually had probably maybe 1 or 2 years before that had heard on Facebook, a woman had said something about that she had lost weight and she made a reference to her legs, but I'll always have big legs, even no matter how much weight I lose because I have lipedema. And I was like, what's that? And so I went and Googled it, and that's how I found out what it was. And then I spent 2 years going to different doctors. And then through one of the Facebook pages, I did get a name of a doctor in Boston, a cardiologist. And I went to him virtually because it was during the pandemic.
Mm.
And, he just asked to look at my legs on the camera. And we talked a little bit first. And then, I kind of stood back and he said, yes, definitely, So, and then I just had my annual with him again, virtually. But I felt like I didn't really need to go in person. And he assigned all the things, get the echocardiogram done, get the ultrasound for the veins done, work on getting some of the tights. I don't know what you call them, the
Compression
compression tights,
things.
or
Sure.
compression. And I hate those. I mean, they felt okay when they were on, but I took, everybody knows it takes forever, right? So trying to get them on and everything. So the last time I talked to him in June, he suggested to me Lympha Press. And that's how this all came about.
Which is really refreshing because a lot of times we hear people found our roundtables or some of our online material at Lympha Press.
Uh-huh.
But it's wonderful that more and more doctors are becoming aware of the fact that Lympha Press is uniquely suited to help the lipedema patient. Before we get in that, because that's going to be my favorite part of the interview.
Yeah.
You kept hearing there's nothing wrong with you. How did you know that this was wrong? And when did you first see the signs of lipedema in your life?
Oh gosh.
Now that you know what it is.
Yeah, way back when I was, I would have to say puberty is when, I look back at pictures and everything. And definitely on my father's side of the family, now that I look back and I see my aunts and everything on that side too, I realize that it started a long time ago. And here's my story, my sad story. When I was in 8th grade, I was a cheerleader and I had just moved to a brand new school. So I didn't really know anybody. And I was so excited, and I come out in my little uniform and the basketball team started chanting tree trunk legs. And I was like mortified because I was a dancer all my life. I mean, I danced in shows. I was a theater major, communications major. And so I was always so, I knew I was bigger, but it didn't really bother me. And then I was just like, what are they saying? So then I realized, oh, maybe that's not normal, but it didn't stop me because I danced through high school. I danced into college. I would have had a dance minor if I stayed like one more semester. I really, all my life, I've been an entertainer, performer. So I've been in front of people. So I've always been kind of conscious of how I look or how, what to do to what makes me feel good, that kind of thing. But yeah, so I realized then, well, I guess it's just that side of the family, and that's when I knew, thinking back now on it, that it probably started around puberty.
Wow. First of all, I want to applaud you and I admire you for not letting it stop you. Some people, if they heard kids chanting tree trunk legs, might have retreated and never done what your innate gifts were to do,
Right.
which was to perform, to be out there. And I love how you said, well, you know what? I own this. I may not know
Yeah.
what it is, but I'm going to still be me.
Right. I mean, I was born to move. I mean, that's my job now. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm 56 years old. I teach 12 to 15 classes a week. I am born to move. It just I wouldn't know what else to do. I could not sit at a desk and do a job. I am always on the go. Definitely.
And you're also a singer too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. So your genre is sort of back in the day,
It's
the
great American songbook stuff. Yeah. All the songs that make us go, you know.
I love that. Well, you
Yeah.
actually, just talking to you makes me go, because you have such an infectious joy and spirit and zest for
Oh,
life,
thanks.
which I
Yes.
want our viewers to see and hear, because while you may have lipedema, it doesn't have to have you or stop you. And
No.
we get wherever you're at, that's okay.
Right.
But once you got your diagnosis
Mhm.
and you started to incorporate some tools, then you heard about the Lympha Press. So
Right.
here's my favorite part of the story. What was it? What has been your experience with Lympha Press?
It's been fantastic. So I'll just answer that right away. I really wasn't quite sure, but as long as I didn't have to put on those tights, I thought, I'm trying anything. I'll try anything. So when my doctor said, I'm going to order this for you, I thought, okay, here we go. Here's this long process of having to get this thing and having to pay all this money and go through my insurance. And you know what? It was fantastic. It wasn't like that. It was so quick. And I don't know if I'm supposed to mention names or anything, but who helped me? Yeah, am I supposed to?
Go for it. Go for
Marie
it.
Maroney.
Marie Maroney is a rock star.
She
She
really is. She's
genuinely
great.
cares about our patients and often will just go the extra mile to make sure that you feel taken care of, and you know that your inquiry isn't going into a big black hole where nobody's going to ever follow up. So
Oh my gosh,
she was
Brenda,
on
it
the
was
case.
so great. It was so easy. She said, no, we're going to talk to the insurance and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I said, yeah, but I want to know how much is it going to cost me out of pocket because we haven't reached our deductible and blah, blah. You know, I'm so worried. I hate all that insurance stuff. I just feel like there's so many like secret, numbers in there and, oh, you have to do this and that. And, oh, no, you don't owe 200, you owe 700. And so I thought this is going to happen, and it didn't happen. It just, all of a sudden she's like, it's in the works. It's going to be on its way. And then you're going to have somebody call you. Anna's going to call you and she's going to help you set things up. And, I did. I got everything. I talked to Anna and it was easy. And now I thought, "Oh, I hope this isn't one of those things that you purchase and then you never use, or you use in the beginning, like a piece of exercise equipment that most, and then it gets dusty. And I thought, is this going to happen? And it didn't. And it's been over a month now. I mean, it is still very new to me, but I can't wait. And I'll tell you, Dr. Piazza, my doctor in Boston, he said in the very beginning, Liz, you're supposed to elevate your legs 3 to 4 times a day. And I laughed. I said, that is not going to happen because I teach in person. I teach on Zoom. I'm running around. I just don't think that's going to happen. Well, now that I have the Lympha Press, I have no excuse. And so I sit there and I go, okay, I can still be on my laptop. And so I'm answering emails and sometimes I fall asleep. And then I'm like, oh, afternoon nap. This is good.
So the reason why it didn't get dusty in a closet is because it's easy to use?
Oh my gosh. It feels good. It's easy to use. I had to kind of figure out what I was doing, like with all the wires and stuff, the octopus, I call it. But I found a way to kind of like put them in this nice little bouquet. And then I actually put the compressor, I guess, right like in between my legs at the ankles. So it's right in front of me. It's not off to the side because I tried it that way. And I was like, wait a minute, like they're down there and I got this thing here and how's this going to work? So I got it. And I have one of those beds. My sisters call it, you have a hospital bed, basically, the adjustable ones. So I can even put my feet up a little bit and I still do my work because nothing can stop me from that. But, it's easy. It feels really good. and I lost weight, which is like something that hasn't happened in a long time. And I mean, I teach a lot of classes and I teach higher intensity. I teach, classes that are very vigorous and some that are not. So combination, think, oh, I could lose a few pounds here and there. No, I've been stuck for years. I was stuck for years at 204 pounds. And I'm at 190.6 right now. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the Lympha Press, but let me tell you, it kind of has to, because now my lymphatic system is just working better, right? I mean, does that happen?
We have heard this time and time again. We know that results vary from patient to patient, but if you use it, a lot of times you will lose inches. And people experience a reduced heaviness in their legs, that feeling of achy heaviness.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they didn't even realize they had.
Yeah, and it's taken me forever to get under 200 pounds. And I'm okay. I was fine with being at 200 pounds because, like I said, weight to me, whatever the number wasn't the important part, but I hadn't seen anything move. I hadn't noticed anything in my clothing. And since I've started working, I think my lymphatic system was kind of stuck. And so I would do a little bit of manual lymphatic drainage before, like trying, with the dry brushing and stuff. But you really have to schedule yourself for that. That's like a commitment to the same thing with working out. But this, I put my legs in, zip it up, turn it on. I'm not going anywhere. And that's it.
Activating something that has been dormant in a way that the human body just needs assistance with. I feel like what you're saying is it's sort of like your lymphatic system perked up and said, oh,
yeah,
and began to respond. Yeah.
That's how I feel. And honestly, I'm like, I'm never going to stop using this thing.
Good. Well, you're not supposed to.
What if I get down to 100? I'm like, how much weight can I lose?
Keep using it. It's so funny. A lot of people mistakenly say, oh, I've seen results, so this is great. I don't have to do it anymore. And the truth is, it's a chronic condition. So you need to continue to use it so that you maintain the progress that you have achieved. So I just want to give that little commercial to everyone. And I also want to say at this point, if you have been talking yourself out of a Lympha Press by saying, oh, this or oh, that, or oh, my insurance, or we have experts that are willing to go to bat for you and that are willing to work with your doctor's office and your insurances we do things the right way to get the documentation that's needed so that you can get the therapy that you need in the comfort of your home. And what a compelling testimony, Liz. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I thought, I was like thinking today, I'm not going to have any problem talking about Lympha Press, because originally when we thought, oh, can I do an interview? And I told you I was so excited to get it. You're like, yeah, use it for a while and let's talk about it. And I thought, what if I have nothing to talk about? What if I just say, because to be honest, I'm thinking with all this exercise that I do, shouldn't my legs have already, been the best that they can be? Because even Dr. Piazza was saying, hey, your calves pump. You don't have to wear compression when you exercise if you don't want to. If it doesn't feel good, even just regular compression exercise leggings, like find the ones that work for you, but your calves pump. If you're moving, your body is pumping. And I thought, okay, maybe I don't need that. But you know what? I think it's almost like the decompressing part of it too. It's forcing me to stay there, which, is really hard for me to do. And it's working those lymphatics for an hour. I do 30 minutes just in case something comes up and I have to get out of my zippers. But then I'm like, but I very rarely move. And I go forward and I press the button again and I do another 30. So I stay there for an hour. But I don't know. I like that halfway point.
Well, I think your story is also compelling because you are active, and there are people maybe watching who have very active lifestyles, and yet they still have hit a ceiling or a wall. And so Lympha Press can definitely help with that. But tell me a little bit about your commitment to health and fitness, because I think that's an important part of your story.
Yeah, it definitely is something that I feel good about and something that I have a huge passion for. I'm not an athlete. I was always into theater and dance. I guess dancing is athletic, but um, as far as like being, on sports teams and that kind of thing, I was not that person. But now I feel like I love it. I love teaching class to music and jumping around and all that stuff, right? So that commitment is one part of it. And then there's nutrition. I definitely eat well and what I'm supposed to eat for the chronic condition. I don't say, well, I'm exercising and doing it so I can eat this, this, and this. I mean, very low sugar, lower carbs, the right, proteins and that kind of thing. And being a personal trainer, I did, do some training in that. So, and I feel good. I know when I feel good. I know when I eat the wrong things, I'm not going to feel that great the next day. And we all do that because
Oh
people
yeah.
say, have the cake, have this. And you do. And then, then I'm like, why do my knees hurt so much? Or what, and it's the gluten or the sugar. It's all those things that we know that, are the inflammation, things that happen in our body that, we know we're not supposed to do it, but we do it. And then, so I think consistency is key. And so, no matter where you are, you could start somewhere. And I just did my very first YouTube video. And one of the reasons why I was hesitant to do it is because I don't really look like a personal trainer, right? I don't look like you'd think a personal trainer should look. And so I thought, am I going to get all kinds of comments? So I do have in my description the fact that I have lipedema. And I started doing a video that I think that most people, even if you had stage 3 or 4, could do. And it's a 10-minute seated exercise session.
So how can people find that video and follow you?
So it's called Wiser, like an owl. That's my logo. My mom used to collect owls. So WISER, Wiser Health and Fitness. And you spell the whole thing out. And that is on YouTube. So I would love to have people subscribe because then when I put out new videos, if I know I have ladies out there or men with lipedema, wouldn't it be great to know that it's helping them? I really feel like I have a calling because the singing job I've sort of put on the back burner, even though that's the one where I make more money, to be honest, as a income. But I feel like this part right now, having this disease and knowing where I could go if I don't do the right things, it's kind of scary. So I feel like I have this calling, like, let's stay together, girls. Let's do this. And so Wiser Health and Fitness on YouTube, Wiser Health and Fitness website, Wiser Health and Fitness Instagram, and what's the other one? What am I missing?
Oh, Facebook, Twitter.
No, TikTok. I'm not on Twitter. Not on Twitter or TikTok, but the other ones, definitely. And I have some free guests that come on too and do like our nurse comes on and does a presentation every last Monday. Not lipedema, but other things that are interesting. And so
is your personal coaching done on site where you live, or is it also virtual?
So behind me is where I teach Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I teach interval training. So, if you're somebody who wants to do lateral jumps and you want to jump, but if you're somebody who just wants to step, touch, everybody takes it at their own level. I teach, most of my people are over 60 years old. So it's an active, older community. So there's interval training, there's bar, which is great, standing up at the bar. There's a seated class and cardio dance. That's the other one. So that's just fun. It's kind of like Zumba, but it's not mostly Latin. It's just a bunch of different, fun songs. But yeah.
And you are based in New England?
I am. I live on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. So I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday in my basement with no windows. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do teach in person on the Cape in Falmouth. And I do like 2-month sessions through the senior center. So like I said, I love teaching. I've been doing it forever.
Well, you could see how you light up when you talk about it. We
Mhm.
talked before we started rolling recording. I had mentioned, because when I think of fitness and lipedema, I always think of my friend Patty Cornute, who has
Mhm.
the amazing group Lipedema Fitness. And we just want you to know, everybody out there, there are so many wonderful portals for you to get the support that you need, the inspiration you need. And there isn't a competition to reign supreme. It is all about let's uplift the community and work
Right.
together. And that's why I love the chance to interview with you. And I want to know if you could say to someone who's sitting out there and they're in your position, or maybe they're just saying, they've been calling me tree trunk legs all my life and I didn't know it was lipedema. What would you say to that person watching right now?
Well, the trainer part of me is going to say, don't fool yourself. Like sometimes we think we do things consistently, or I do eat right, or I do, right? We tend to get a little defensive. Be honest with yourself and say, do you do this consistently? Do you dedicate yourself? Can you motivate yourself? And if you can't, can you find people or places that will help motivate you? Because I know that if I think one thing, like, well, I do that and I do that. If I really tune into it, I can say, I fell off a little bit here. I did this here. I did that. And a lot of it has to do with emotion because we know how emotional this is, right? So I guess for me to say to somebody, be consistent and be honest with yourself, because I do believe that if we just kind of get away from being defensive on it and say, you know, yeah, she's right. I haven't been doing that every day.
And so I want to also say on the other side of it, in your honesty, everyone, don't be hard on yourselves. Don't beat yourself up because that doesn't serve anything. Being kind
Right.
to yourself and showing self-compassion and self-love and self-acceptance while you're being honest,
Right.
because I think our internal critics can be the most harsh ones, more than any basketball team saying tree trunk legs.
Right.
So being honest, I don't know what I did this weekend, but marinating it all in self-appreciation and self-compassion. It seems to me that you had a strong sense of self, Liz, throughout all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, like, my childhood wasn't that great. I had a lot of support from my sisters. And so we had to be really strong. My mom had to be a really strong lady to get through a lot of stuff. And just kind of seeing that. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, how the heck did I end up so normal? Right? This is good. And so, and I've always been really detail oriented and wanting to be organized and wanting to help people. And, I like communication. I went into the right thing. I have a communications degree. I like talking to people and I like connecting people. Like if you said, hey, Liz, you can't exercise anymore, but I'm going to give you a new job. That would be like, I would want to be like, okay, I'm going to make sure that Mary talks to Susan. They come together at 4 o'clock. Like I love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so making things happen, I guess, that's where I kind of hooked in and then I kind of went on that path. So that's what kept me going in the right direction,
And
so
when you find what lights you up and you go into that, that is an
right.
indomitable force. And I
Right.
feel that from you. I'm really excited for you. I'm so excited you're enjoying your Lympha Press.
I love it.
And you know what? It's only been a month. So let's talk again in 6 months and see
Yeah.
what your progress has been. But thank you for encouraging our audience. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate you.
And thank you for having a device that makes me stop for an hour. I'm not kidding. Like I really think that that's part of the whole thing of just bringing it all in and using that time. And it's doing something so good for me. I love the way it feels. It's just wonderful. I'm so, so happy that I found it.
Well, we're thrilled that you found it too. And by the way, if anybody watching wants to learn more about Lympha Press, please reach out to us, marketing@lymphapress.com. Or if you also have a great testimony and you want to share it with the world, email me, bviola@lymphapress.com. I'd love to connect the dots so that you could tell your story just like Liz did today. Hey, Liz, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.